Welcome back to another video on the channel. In this one I'm going to be reviewing the Daniil Medvedev vs Rafa Nadal semi-final of the 2020 ATP finals, in which Medvedev has just booked his place into tomorrow's final against Dominic Thiem. Medvedev is a player that I said pre-tournament I hadn't seen as much as I'd wanted to of his game, and I've sort of underestimated him, I feel, in the past. From watching him this week, and I understand why he's reached the business end of Grand Slams and why he's considered as one of the best up-and-coming players in the world. I knew he had a fantastic defence, Medvedev, but I didn't realise how quick he was. You know, it's very deceptive how quick he is with his height, but he's got fantastic reach. I think he covers the court so well, he reads play very well, but he's an excellent counter-puncher and arguably one of the best counter-punchers in the world. He showed that today against Nadal, he showed it the other day against Novak Djokovic, who are undoubtedly two of the best, cleanest hitters in the world. And not alone does he just get the ground strokes back, but he turns defence into attack a lot of the time. Nadal was finding his mark on a lot of forehands and backhands today, and as I say, Medvedev wasn't just returning them, but he was also turning them into clean winners, which puts a dent in every single player's confidence. You know, Rafa looked at times a little bit dejected and, you know, thinking, how is this guy doing this? You know, he's like a brick wall, Medvedev, and he tires you out. Every point that you win against Medvedev is tough. He gets every ball back in play, he fights for every ball, he makes you play the extra shot, and then when he backs it up with monster first serves of his own, fantastic around the net. Is also a very good shot maker, which is something I've underestimated before in the past. I've always predicted the likes of Djokovic and Nadal to come through matches against Medvedev due to having the aggressive and bigger ground strokes, but Medvedev, when he gets on the front foot and you can attack inside the baseline and move into the net, he's got a massive forehand and backhand and very capable of hitting clean for himself when he's on the front foot, and a really, really good player that I think is going to have a huge future in the game. And I just sort of look a little bit at the match. It went similar to the way Djokovic and Thiem did, in the sense that both players started very well, particularly on the first serves, making a lot of first serves consistently and moving into the court, controlling points, dictating service games and racing through. Medvedev, you obviously know, he's got a very quick service motion, he can rattle through games in less than a minute. Nadal's been serving consistently well this week, and as good as I've seen him serve for a lot of years. And he backs it up with that 1-2 punch, looking to keep Medvedev wide on the run, behind the baseline, and just put him away at every opportunity. It went to 4-4 in the opening set, and I said against Tsitsipas in commentary and pre-match that one that this is when Rafa, you know, plays his best tennis at the business end of sets. You know, when a next-gen player might have a little blip in the performance, Rafa takes huge advantage, and it happened again today. Even in commentary today at 4-4, I said Medvedev's got to be very aware, because this is when Rafa, you know, turns it on, and Medvedev sort of gifted him that break. You know, his serve dropped and he made a couple of unforced errors, just being a little bit impatient, trying to hit winners rather than just rally from the back of the court, which he'd been successful in doing so. But I think when you're playing Rafa, you know he's coming, and it's that mentality in your head that you know Rafa's on the other side of the court, and you know he's going to get every single ball back in court. So you're sort of forced into trying to hit winners yourself, and that just sort of errors fly from the racket of Medvedev. So I think the fact that Rafa's on the other side of the court and you're serving a 4-4, you're kind of expecting a break to come, and I think that certainly happened today. Medvedev looked untouchable on serve in that opening set before 4-4, and then just capitulated, and Rafa took the opening set 6-4. All credit to Medvedev. I mentioned the other day as well that Nadal had won something crazy like 71 consecutive matches after winning the opening set. That run has obviously now come to an end. And Medvedev, he's a young player who's, you know, he's experienced at the top level. He's reached the US Open final back last year. He's reached the US Open semi-final this year. So it's not as if he's inexperienced against these top level players, but he's certainly not as experienced as Rafa Nadal. And I questioned whether Medvedev could reset and refocus at the start of set 2, having almost given away that first set, but he absolutely done that. He reset and refocused brilliantly well. Straight away got back into that strong service motion, racing through service games, and he gained a very big break in that start of the second set, which I think sort of switched the momentum of the match. I think Medvedev was confident of winning the second set at that point, knowing he's got that massive first serve behind him. He'd done the hard work early in the second set with that, getting that break, and I think Medvedev still fully believed he could win the match even being a set down. He went 3-0 up in set 2 in around 10 minutes. It looked like he was just going to blast his way to the second set and we were going to get a very quick decider. But Nadal had other ideas. We know he's the best fighter, I think, in the history of the sport. He's got all the fight, desire, will to win, and he never gives sets up. Rafa could be 5-love down, 40-love, and he wouldn't give the set up. He fights for every single point, and he fought his way back into set 2 and very nearly won it, and that was probably his opportunity to win it. Long story short, because I have been watching tennis and doing these videos for about 6 or 7 hours today, so I'm pretty tired, but Nadal somehow claimed 2 breaks. Again, Medvedev, I think, was a little bit of fault of trying to rush through service games and get the second set won rather than just focus on his tennis and playing his A game. I think he fell into Rafa's traps, but I think Rafa switched up the tactics very well. In that, at the beginning of set 2, I think Rafa was putting a lot of power and extra firepower into his game, just trying to blow Medvedev off the court, but that saw Medvedev counter-punch excellently well. As I say, turn defensive attack, hit clean winners from Rafa's ground strokes and race up to that 3-love lead. At the back in the set 2, Rafa took pace off the ball. He started to use the backhand slice. He was slicing and dicing, using drop shots, just putting the ball on Medvedev's side of the court, asking him to go big and try and turn the tables. Medvedev isn't the type of player that hits winners really from the back of the court. He likes to be on the defensive and counter punch, but Rafa asked the question. He was using height on his forehand and backhand. He was, as I say, slicing, taking the pace off, asking Medvedev to go low and try and hit winners from defensive positions, which he couldn't quite do. The error started to flow from the racket. You could see the confidence of Nadal rising and Medvedev looking dejected. Rafa got another break and actually served for the second set, and at that point I thought the match was done. Medvedev was 3-love up. Rafa's completely turned the tables. He's got all the momentum. He's one game away from reaching ATP finals final. I did not expect Rafa to break down, but he did. He just seemed to try and rush through the game and just hit winner after winner. Got broken to love. Medvedev forced an eventual tie break, which he took. I think it was 7-3 or 7-4. He got a good start in the tie break and went from strength to strength, went for his shots, made them attack the net, made them too really attack the net with conviction, I felt today. And I think in the deciding set he was just better than Rafael Nadal in every single department. His serve gets better and better as the match goes on. He was racing through service games, constantly putting Rafa under pressure, and when he got that all important break, the writing was sort of on the wall. Rafa didn't look to have much left in the legs. We know he's had a long event post lockdown with the French Open, although he didn't really get tested then. He hadn't played a lot of tennis before, so it's been a very good week for Rafa to reach this stage. We know he's hadn't had a great record at this event in the past, but I think he's played some fantastic tennis when you look at the matches against Thiem and Tsitsipas. Could have quite easily won this match today with the second set tie break and also serving for it in the second set, but Medvedev blew him off the court in that decider, hitting winners from all angles, counter punching fantastically, mixing it up between a defence and attack, and actually brought Rafa again to take it 6-3. And I'll be bringing a full preview video out tomorrow morning for the final. It's a real pick'em, it's a 50-50, but the two younger players, Thiem and Medvedev, are through. I did fancy Thiem to beat Djokovic, but I thought Rafa would get the edge over Medvedev, so I'll take 1 out of 2 and I can't wait for tomorrow's final. Thanks to anybody who's watched the video this week. This one might be a few mistakes because, as I say, I have been watching tennis for 5 or 6 hours today, commentated on both matches, and I've done 2 or 3 videos I think today. But I will be back tomorrow morning with a full preview for the final, and then back after the final for my final video of the week, which will be looking back on the final itself. So thanks for watching another video. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow.